And namaskaram, vanakkam to everyone who's here. Dharmo rakshati rakshitaha. Dharma protects those who protects Dharma. You all would have heard this at some point of time in your life. And that is because India's base or backbone or root is what this Dharma is. India was ruled by many kings. Chhatrapati Shivaji was one, for example, but very long time, let's say about 2500 years back, the Chola dynasty, the Chola kings ruled India so well. And all the Chola kings had one thing in their mind: to uphold righteousness and dharma in their rule. Today's story is of one such king who ruled with Tiruvarur as his capital. Let's get into the story. Yellan, that was his name. When somebody heard the name Yellan, you know what they would think? Anda Rajava, who always keeps righteousness. He follows the footsteps of his ancestors just like that. Yellan Maharajava. That is what they said. But Yellan went one step ahead and he announced something. And you know what was that? இதனால் உலக மக்களுக்கு தெரிவித்துக் கொள்வது என்னவென்றால், hear ye, everybody listen to me. Our Maharaja has hung a bell of justice, Araichi money, right outside our palace gates. Anybody who feels injustice has been done to them can come at any time of the hour, any day, without any fear, and pull and ring that Araichi money or the bell of justice. And the king would personally come and see to what your case is. Everybody remember this. When the man came and announced this to the people of Tamil Nadu, how happy they were. What a Raja we have got. They rejoiced. And you know what? The neighboring kings, they came to know about this kingdom only through the Araichi money. And you know what they said? Have you heard about the kingdom where there is this Araichi money which is full dusty and rusty? It is not used at all, you know. And if you're wondering if that is a good thing, obviously it is no. Because there was no injustice in the kingdom. There was no need for anybody to even pull the bell because the king ruled so righteously. He earned the love of his people. He had everything, name, fame, but there was a little sadness in his heart. He did not have a child. All the Chola kings, they were Shaivite kings. They were true devotees of Lord Shiva. And so the king, Yellan, along with his queen, went to the Shiva temple in Tiruvarur. Shiva is called Tyagesha there. He also had another name. I'll tell you what that is. They went and they prayed to Lord Shiva very sincerely. And of course, by the Lord's grace, they got a very beautiful son. The king and the queen, they were extremely happy. The people were even happy because they got a prince who could be their next king after this beautiful king Yellan, no? And you know what the king named him? He named him Veedi Vidangan. And that was the other name for Tyagesha or Shiva in Tiruvarur. It was given, this is a prasadam from the Lord himself. And so I will name him that only, Veedi Vidanga, he used to call. And every time he called, he thought Lord Shiva was born to him as his son, you know. And like every other princes of those days, Veedi Vidangan grew up, exceeding in all the arts and the sports. Katti Chandai, Veera Chandai, bow and arrow, Yana Ettam, Kudare Ettam, you name it. And he could do everything. And the people of Tiruvarur, the people of Tamil Nadu loved their prince so much. Irkada pinne? எள்ளானோட பையனாச்சே, how beautifully he should be ruling when he becomes a king. And so one day, when they came to know that the Ilavarasar or the prince was going to visit the temple, everybody gathered in the streets to welcome him. The Ilavarasan was very, very happy, you know. You know what he did? He got in his chariot. Appa said, Vidivadanga, you will not drive the chariot. Let the charioteer drive. It's okay, he thought, and along with him, his friends and some of the ministers, they got, and the charioteer was riding the chariot in the streets of Thiruvarur. Young blood, no? Huh? This Vidivadanga wanted to go really fast, just like how some of you here always wanted to go fast, no? He called the charioteer and he said, Vegam, Vegam, innum Vegam, innum Vegam, innum Vegam. And so they were going with full speed. The people who were standing in the streets were looking in amazement and waving to the prince and saying, Ilavarase, Ilavarase. He was also very happy and waving it to them. There was cheering in the crowd. The energy was electric. Everybody wanted to come and see this Ilavarasa which was going around everywhere, and what a sight it was to see for everybody. Anna, there was this little calf and the cow that was there inside the crowd. Ilavarase, Ilavarase! Everybody was cheering, and these cow and the calf, they got a little disturbed. And you know what happened? Before even anybody could just wink an eye, this calf, it jumped and went into the roads where the chariot was coming. The chariot was coming in full speed, and the calf was just opposite. The Ilavarasar saw, and he said, stop the chariot. But then there was no break in the chariot, you see. Before even anybody could think what was happening, the chariot hit the little calf, and the calf flew up in the air and fell with a thud. Ma! That was the last sound it made. Vidivadanga jumped off the chariot and he ran to see what had happened. Ayyago, what have I created? What have I done? What have I done? The little calf is dead. Ayyo, what have I done? And all the people who were there, they didn't know what was happening. They said, Ayyo, what a big sin, what a big sin. And that was when the mother cow came running, because it had heard the sound of the calf calling Amma. And when it saw the little calf, Ma! Ma! Vidivadanga just stood there guilty, not knowing what to do. I have committed the greatest sin. How will I even face my father? I cannot be here like this. I'm going to kill myself. He said, and he took out the sword. The minister stopped him. They said, Vidivadanga, Ilavarase, wait. This you did by accident. You have not done this purposely. Let it go. The Vedas and the Shastras, they tell a lot of prayachitam for all this, you know. Let us go to your father. Don't you worry. The mother cow that was standing there probably understood what was spoken. It turned and it ran towards the palace gates. And in the palace, there was this king who was folding his hands, closing his eyes, and praying to Lord Shiva. Kandrin kural kettu kanindu varum pasu pol ennaikke Shivakribai varumo ஏழை என் சங்கடம் மருமோ. He was talking to Shiva. He was telling, will you not come like how the cow comes when it hears the sound of the calf? Will you not come to my aid and take me away? You know why the king was telling this? Because he thought he has finished all his duties and now he has trained his son to become a king. And he was ready to go away from this body, you know. It was then he heard, Dhang, Dhang. Dung! Dung! What? Is somebody ringing the bell of justice? Araichi mani sattam kekurde. He came running to see what it was. And there he saw this cow holding the rope by its teeth, by its mouth, in between the teeth, and pulling the bell. Dung! Dung! And running here and there, shouting, Ma! Ma! And coming and taking the rope by its horns and pulling. Dung! The king was shocked. Who did injustice to this Vaila Jeevan? Who did injustice to this cow? In a country that I'm ruling, where I always try to uphold righteousness, who has done this to this cow? He called the minister. If you haven't found out, I order you now, please find it out and come. The minister bent his head and he said, Maharaja, I just heard a few minutes back our Illavarasan was racing in the chariot and he hit on a calf and the calf just died. I think this cow must be the mother of that calf. Shambho Mahadeva! Shambho Mahadeva! What has he done? What a sin he has committed? My son, did he do that? Ayyo! Look at that cow. It is crying so much, losing its only child. How will I say justice to this cow? And then suddenly, as if something occurred to him, he said, I know what I should be doing. I will kill my son just like this. And I will suffer just like this cow, losing my child. That is the punishment. That is how justice can be given to this cow. The ministers and the people there got shocked. Maharaja, don't act in haste. Don't act in haste. The Vedas and the Shastras tell a lot of prayachittam, and he did not do it purposely. If somebody wants to just live by just taking away their sins by doing some prayachittam, that is not the life that we look for. We look for a life free of guilt. I will do this. In a country where people are looking at me to protect them from injustice, from enemies, from harmful, evil forces, there is this little cow that has come to me seeking justice. And I will not do the wrong thing. And just like how a just king should do, he called Vidhi Vidangan, Visarikarthakaga. But then the Raja did not have the guts to see his son in the eyes. Ingyavadu kanna paatha, manasu kalangi, punishment kudukama poiduvomonu bayam. He just looked down and he said, Vidhi Vidanga, whatever I'm hearing, is that true? Why did you even ask the charioteer to race really fast? Didn't you see the calf coming? Vidhi Vidangan accepted his fault. And you know what? The king just told one thing to Vidhi Vidangan. Kondu varuvadum ondrumillaye, kondu povadum ondrumillaye, நின்று பின் தொடர்வது ரெண்டு வினையே அதை நீ கேளே வினையும் நிழலும் அதுவே மகனே மகனே கொண்டு வருவது ஒன்றுமில்லையே கொண்டு போவதும் ஒன்றுமில்லையே. Only your deeds and your shadow follow you, and your deed has to be corrected. This is the punishment I'm offering you. Vidhi Vidangan did not run away. He accepted. The Raja called his minister, Kalai Vallan was his name, and he said, this is my order. Tie my son and you ride the chariot on him. The minister did not know what to do. One side la Raja, who is seeking justice, on the other side there was this child whom he had brought up. What will he do? Will he pay heed to the Raja's orders, or will he kill the child whom he has brought up as his own? The minister could not do anything. He just took out his sword and he cut his head. The Raja thought, how is it fair for me to ask others to punish my child? I only will do this because this kind of another mistake should never happen in this soil that I'm ruling. And so he tied up the son. He sat on the chariot, thinking of Vidivadanga Swami or the Tyagaya Swami. He started riding the chariot, telling to himself and the Lord, please give me strength as I'm going to ride this chariot on my little boy. I'm doing this because you should take away all his sins so that he does not rot in hell. And this land does understand that no injustice will be tolerated. I do this on your name. Please give me strength, he said. And there was Vidhividangan lying down, closing his eyes and meditating upon the Lord. When all this was happening, the chariot ran over the prince. Ayyaho! Everybody shouted. And the boy's body split into two and he died. They saw the selfless king who has done this. Tears flowed like rain from the people who had gathered there. The devas who had gathered above rained flowers looking at this selfless king. And just then there was this bright light which came. Before even everybody could understand what the Jyoti was, Hari Ayanum Kana Ariya Jyoti Adi Antam Illa Parayanadi Puramerita Mukkan Karumeyandan Punyamurti Subramanian Tandaye Paratpara Parameshwara Parvati Pate Hara Pashupate Paratpara Parameshwara. Who do you think was that? It was none other than Lord Shiva himself. And when he came there, all the people looked at him and they said, Hara Namah Parvati Pataye Hara Hara Mahadeva Tennadudaya Shivane Potri எந்நாட்டவர்க்கும் இறைவா போற்றி ஏகம்பத்துரை எந்தாய் போற்றி பாகம் பெண்ணுருவானாய் போற்றி காவாய் கனகத்திரளே கைலை மலையானே போற்றி போற்றி. Shiva looked at him and he said, Yellan, you followed the path of Dharma. It was I who sent the calf. The calf was none other than Dharma Thai herself. From today on, you will be known as Manu needhi Chozhan, the one who ruled by the laws of Manu. And your name will stay in this place as long as Dharma stays. And the moment Shiva said this, the Kandukutti jumped up with life. The minister got up and Vidhividangan too got up. If you think this is just a mythology story, let me tell you all. There are written historical references to these in the Mahavamsam of the Sri Lankan kings. It talks about the chronicles of the kings that ruled the land, and there it is mentioned that there was a Chola king named Yellan who captured the Anuradhapuram, which is the modern day Sri Lanka. And he was known to be ruling with justice, not only treating his friends but also his foes with the same righteousness. Dharmam rakshati rakshitah. Dharma will save those who save Dharma. Thank you.